All right, it's 9:01, so perhaps we should get started. So good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Today's session is super exciting. I have a special guest with me from Zilliz, Tim Span. So Tim, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Tim Span. I'm the principal developer advocate at Zilliz, and I deal with the wonderful world of Milvus and vector stores, and a big friend of StreamNative and Pulsar.
Awesome, awesome. So thank you so much, Tim, for joining us today. So today's session is primarily about, let me just walk you through the agenda. It's a full pack agenda today. So I'll cover the 2024 roadmap of StreamNative. I'll give you a quick recap of what we've done in Q1 and Q2. And I'll spend majority of my time giving you more, providing more details on the announcements we did in Q3. We've launched a bunch of products. And I'll give you a quick sneak peek of what's coming in Q4. Lots of interesting updates coming up on Q4. So we'll be providing more details on that as we come along, but I'll give you a quick sneak peek of that. And then from Zilliz side, Tim is going to give us a quick introduction to Zilliz and walk us through the different integration patterns between Kafka and Milvus. And also the other interesting section, which he's going to cover is where he's going to tell us about how Milvus, the open source technology is powered by Apache Pulsar. So that'll be definitely a very interesting session from Tim. So watch out for that. So let me just get started. Just for the benefits of the benefit of the folks who are not familiar with StreamNative, I just want to give a quick introduction to StreamNative. So StreamNative is a company created by the founders of Apache Pulsar. This was a project which started back in 2012, and it was open sourced in 2016, and it made its way to a really high level, top level project going all the way from incubation, right? So we finished 6 years now, reaching that stage. So I think this is a huge milestone for the Apache Pulsar community. So congratulations to all the committers and everyone who's been involved with this project. And then in 2019, we actually started the StreamNative company. Now the company was focused on primarily at the time offering managed services for Apache Pulsar. And yeah, it's been 4 years that the company was launched, and I think the company saw a lot of growth. So did the Apache Pulsar community. So in 2024, though, I think we also provided support for Kafka compatible API. So we are now a Kafka vendor too. So if there's one takeaway you can do from this slide is to remember that StreamNative is both a Pulsar and a Kafka company. We provide solutions for both. So I'll share more details on that as we go along as to how our Kafka story is getting stronger with the launch of some of the new products, which I'm going to cover today. Okay, so one quick slide here is for the benefit again of people who are not very familiar with StreamNative. Just want to introduce you to the one StreamNative platform. So essentially at the core, we provide support for Kafka and Pulsar, right? All the managed services for that. And then we provide multiple ways to get data in and out of StreamNative clusters, which is the Pulsar or Kafka clusters. And essentially you have 50 plus connectors in StreamNative Hub. You could just use them in the StreamNative cloud. And perhaps you can also use them in a declarative way so you don't have to write a whole bunch of custom code. It's all very declarative and fully managed set of connectors in the cloud. We also have a lot of support for the libraries, which you can use to basically get data in and out of Kafka for some reason if you don't have any connector. And if you want to use and you write custom code, you can do that too. And we have native support for basically lakehouse storage open format. So essentially within StreamNative Cloud, you can, as an out-of-the-box feature, turn on an offloading process, which lets you offload your data to your choice of lakehouse storage formats. It can be in S3, Google Cloud, or Azure Blob Storage, and it can be in one of the open lakehouse formats like Delta Lake, Iceberg, and Hudi, something which is on the roadmap coming soon, right? We also provide support for heavy-duty stream processing engines, and we integrated them like capabilities like Apache Flink, Spark, and we have connectors for those. So as a customer, if you want to do some process the data as it comes into StreamNative Cloud, you can use any of these integrations. And we have a built-in capability called Pulsar functions to do stream processing. This is something which you can write your custom logic using any of the 5 programming languages or runtimes we support, from Java, Python, and Node.js and others. As you deploy this custom code, as the data comes into StreamNative topic, these functions get triggered and do all the transformation and store that into a different topic, so you can then push it out to your destination, right? So this is all built in and fully managed and very scalable as well. This is primarily recommended for lightweight data processing. And then we also have support for different types of protocols as well, right? So that's a quick view about quick overview of the StreamNative platform. And let's move on now. So I want to actually walk you through the roadmap, StreamNative's roadmap 2024. Let me start with Q1 and Q2. So basically, in Q1, really, we started the support for Kafka compatible API. Essentially, out of the box, when you come into StreamNative Cloud, you can turn on the Kafka on the StreamNative capability, which really is based on the Kafka protocol. And that allows you to sort of route all your Kafka clients. It basically makes StreamNative interoperable with all your existing Kafka applications, right? And at the same time, it offers a lot of benefits of the differentiation or the advantages which underlying Pulsar technology offers from rebalancing perspective or other capabilities perspective, right? So this was launched in Q1. In Q2, we launched a bunch of other capabilities. We started with Lakehouse storage support. This is where out of the box, you can, within StreamNative Cloud, turn on the Lakehouse storage capability, which allows you to offload your data to an underlying low-cost storage service like S3 or Google Cloud or Azure Blob, and a choice of your choice of open Lakehouse format like Delta Lake or Iceberg, right? And this is really going well. A lot of customers are excited about it because there's a lot going on in the world of the open Lakehouse formats. The customers want an ability to offload and store their data in a low-cost storage service. At the same time, they want it to be open so the third-party tools can query them from external world, like Trino, or it could be Databricks, or it could be any other third-party tool, Amazon Athena, things like that, right? So that's something which is already out there. Please try that out. Just to highlight one or two other things, with Databricks, definitely we validated our integration and we put a lot of content out there. We're also continuing to work with them to integrate with their Unity catalog and their Delta SDK, Delta kernel SDK to kind of read and write data from in the Delta format. So there's a lot going on there. So those were some of the updates from Q1 and Q2. So now let's move on to phase 3, which is Q3. So the Q3 was actually, it's been a really interesting quarter because we've made a bunch of announcements literally a week or so back. So let me walk you through each one of them slowly, right? So the first one is the StreamNative serverless functionality. This is now available in a public preview. Basically, StreamNative is committed to make it more easier for developers to kind of get started and get their hands on StreamNative Cloud. So the new offering is going to let you get started very quickly. You can get your cluster up and running in a matter of few seconds. Literally last night I counted like how many seconds does it take, and it took me like 6 to 7 seconds for the cluster to be up and running. Like that is like actually a little slower. A lot of times we do it much faster as well. So the serverless offering is going to be exciting. You can start with $0 a month based on the consumption. You just pay for what you consume. And so you're worry-free. You can try your workloads on this without worrying too much about the commitment. This is the best way to get started, okay? So again, as I was mentioning, there are 3 quick steps to get started with serverless. The first thing is just log into StreamNative Cloud. After you go through the signing up, you will land into the console where once you try to create a cluster, the UI will walk you through 3 simple steps. You just enter the instance name, the cluster name and the region, and then you just click on finish. And within a few seconds, you'll have the cluster ready. And with that, you'll basically have all the core functionalities of StreamNative, including connectors and functions and all the things, all the good things available for you to try out. So very quick way to build your pipeline, just a matter of seconds. So try that out. That was StreamNative serverless in public preview now. You can just sign up for trial and explore that. So the next product which we launched this quarter was basically what we call Unicorn. This is universal connectivity, and I'll tell you why we gave it that name. So essentially what we've launched is the support for Kafka Connect in StreamNative Cloud. We've always had the support for Pulsar IO, which is a framework to build connectors and functions within Pulsar, Apache Pulsar. But I think with our support, as I mentioned in Q1, we supported we announced the support for Kafka compatible API. I think this step is to really make our Kafka story more stronger, and so that our customers can benefit from it. Adding the support for Kafka Connect opens up a broad ecosystem of connectors for our customers, so they can bring them onto StreamNative Cloud. And now with the combination of both Pulsar and Kafka-based connectors, they have a much more broader choice to quickly build their pipelines, right? So I think this is the new announcement. When you log into, I'll walk you through more details around this. So with the vision behind Unicorn, the universal connectivity within StreamNative Cloud, is primarily to give all kinds of tools to our customers so they can build, deploy, debug, and monitor their pipelines very quickly using either a Pulsar or Kafka Connect based connector, right? So we have capabilities to make sure that you're not just testing things out or deploying things. We want to make sure that we give you a enterprise-ready product or an experience which you can use to build your pipelines and rely on them, whether it's using UI or API or command line, right? So let me just walk you through some more details here. So we're starting with just a few connectors right now within StreamNative built-in catalog. So we have the Milvus sync, the MongoDB connectors, and then a couple of other connectors like Iceberg and Yugabyte. So when you log into StreamNative Cloud, you'll find a section for Kafka connectors, and you can expect to find these connectors there, and you can start using them, right? Over time, you can expect to see more connectors showing up here. We want to work closely with our partners from the ISV ecosystem to kind of bring those connectors here in our catalog so that can benefit our customers. So just a sneak peek of how the product looks when you log into StreamNative Cloud. You can go to once you create your, let's just say, the serverless deployment. This functionality is available in all our offerings, like serverless, our dedicated offering, our bring your own cloud offering, all the offerings, and of course the private cloud as well. But I think in case of the managed cloud offering, once you create, let's say, your serverless offering or serverless cluster, you can navigate to the connectors page. That's where you can find these 4 different tabs: Pulsar Sync, Source, Kafka Sync, and Source. So once you go to the Kafka Sync section, you'll be able to create a connector and find the catalog of all the Kafka connectors. Same thing with Kafka Source as well. Here's like a quick view of 2 connectors running, and then you can take all the actions in these connectors while they're up and running. Like you can pause the connector, resume the connector, delete, or perform other lifecycle actions on these connectors from the UI or API or command line interface, right? Some more details, like this is the create experience. When you click on the create sync and connector, you can find basically the 3 connectors to choose from. And then it's a very declarative experience. All you have to do is enter the minimum required configurations to quickly get started and create a connector. Then we have the ability to debug the connectors. So essentially, once your connector is up and running, if it's a happy path, everything goes well, your pipeline is up and running. But if your configuration or something is incorrect while you're creating the connector, I think your connector would fail. And then the best way to kind of debug that is through the logs. So we provide access to all the connector logs, and you can basically, whether different types of levels, all the Kafka Connect levels, info, debug, trace, you'll be able to sort of set them, and you'll be able to kind of view those logs and debug it very quickly. So also we have the monitoring capabilities. So once you have, there are different types of metrics at a Kafka Connect level for connector level, which you can track in the UI or through, the command line interface or through a script. So we are only exposing a few metrics right now in the UI, but there's a long list of metrics we support today, which you can use to monitor your connectors. All right, so that was a little bit about Kafka Connect in StreamNative Cloud and how you can quickly create pipelines based on that. If you try serverless, you'll get your cluster up and running just in a few seconds. Then I think in StreamNative, where can you find all the sort of details associated with the connectors? So we have a StreamNative hub, which is where we publish details about all the connectors. And now you can find a new section where you can filter connectors by Kafka Connect or Pulsar.io. You can find all the connectors right here and all the details, right? So StreamNative hub, please check that out. So let me cover one important topic very quickly for the enterprises, for the companies who are on the call, or you're going to be listening to this later. I want to talk a little bit about the shared responsibility of the connectors in terms of the type of things I really want to cover the specifics of who owns which part of the entire support process, right? And so this matrix was primarily created to just give you an indication of that for all the fully managed connectors created by StreamNative, the enterprise support will be provided by StreamNative. Basically, this third column here on the right, which is pretty much blue, and except for the configurations which are coming from the customers, right, or from the users. And then between the custom connectors, let's go to the extreme left, which are the connectors which are built in-house by the customers. You can definitely upload those connectors within StreamNative Cloud. What we will support is the underlying infrastructure to run Kafka Connect and Pulsar.io, and we'll provide you access to the logs. But everything else related to the connector, which is your own code, which is your own custom connector, you will have to bring support for that, or you will have to kind of own the responsibility of keeping it up and running, or if you run into issues, you will have to kind of take a look at that, right? And we'll purely focus on underlying infrastructure, which is the console to create the connector, or view the logs, or all the end-to-end life cycle around the connector infrastructure. And the one in between is the connectors from our partners. I think this list will grow over time because we want to work closely with ISVs to bring these connectors to StreamNative Cloud. So again, here also, we want to scale in a way that we will provide support for the underlying infrastructure. And the connectors which we'll add to our catalog, the support for that will come from our partners from the ISVs, right? So that's a little bit about the supportability matrix, which you should be aware of as you start using these connectors for production and deployment, right? So this is also published in our documentation. All right, so that's a little bit about StreamNative. We covered basically the main product announcements which we did this quarter. We spoke about serverless. We spoke about universal connectivity. And there's one more topic which I'm holding on, which I'm going to cover at the end. But for now, I'm going to transition to Zilliz, and I'm going to hand it over to Tim so he can tell us all about Zilliz. So Tim, over to you. Let me stop sharing so you can bring that up, actually.
Sounds like a plan. Let me make sure I'm sharing the right slides. I believe so. I believe our handoff was successful. We're still in it for the gold here. Hopefully we'll
Perfect.
Bring cloud gold for everyone. Very good. So Zilliz, we are a AI company focused on making an open source vector database. And ours is very mature, very widely used. As you could see, completely open source, Apache license, like our friends Apache Pulsar. And we have been around for a while, so we get a decent amount of stars, decent amount of people using it. and we are managed by the Linux Foundation for AI and Data. And we let you do a lot of interesting things with different types of data. And we do that at a pretty interesting scale. What's cool is Zilliz took a number of some of the best algorithm and database engineers out there and built from scratch a high performance, very scalable, very highly available distributed database designed for vector search from the ground up, designed to be cloud native, like our friends at StreamNative. So that's why we work really well together. And what's cool is this is different from the databases you're used to. You know, you still need all of them because we're never getting rid of structured data, but we now keep adding more unstructured data. And those are things that before, you know, you'd store somewhere, maybe they just sit in an S3 bucket and maybe a link to them. They were helpful for designing a web page, for people reading them. But now we have the ability to have AI models actually interact with these, build them, read them, understand them. So with these different unstructured data types, we take things like images, video, documents being very popular source of data, audio, user-generated data, logs, sensors, unstructured data, tons of different things. We apply different machine learning models, and these can be open source. These can be ones from whatever your favorite AI platform is, whether it's a Llama model, something from OpenAI. There's a ton of them. These will take things like images, pretty much binary files or specialty type files, convert them into vector embeddings, which sounds fancy, but it's just a really big array. That could be up to 1,500 dimensions, so pretty big arrays of numbers. Gets them stored in a proper distributed Milvus database, managed in the cloud by Zilliz, and then makes that available so you can perform extremely fast, almost instantaneous searches with a bunch of different types of applications. And those applications can include very common is the retrieval augmented generation RAG that's used by people when you want to type in a prompt and then communicate with a large language model, but you don't want to have to retrain it based on maybe your corporate or enterprise data or very specific things. Like, for example, I grab real-time plane tracking data and I put that into a Milvus database and I provide that as the context to whatever questions I'm adding. So I could ask things like, how is this particular flight? And I give a flight ID doing, and I pass that along with the prompt. And then it makes it very easy for the model to read from that context that I provided. Chatbots, this is a very interesting one, as you can ask questions of your documents, ask questions of images, upload an image as part of a chat, and have that used to query a database and get back results. Recommendation systems for online stores and other systems. Just being able to search an image or text, that comes in useful too, especially when I could upload an audio and get matching results without having to hand code, you know, metadata fields or my own descriptions or my own text describing that. Now you could always add that as extra fields, but you don't need to do that. The ML models have done that for you. And drug discovery, a big one for me in the state of New Jersey, where we have a lot of pharmaceutical companies here. Anomaly detection, very good for manufacturing and very common use case. Again, not a lot of open source vector databases out there, certainly not with the Apache 2 license, certainly not those have been around since 2017. What's nice is we are super fast, you know, faster and cheaper than most of the others. We support a large number of pluggable vector search libraries because there's multiple and new ones get created, you want to be able to use the ones that make the most sense for you for performance, for cost. We also support tiering of storage. And of course, being cloud native, we run on Kubernetes, scale out to billions of vectors. And that is a use case for some of the larger companies out there. And what's nice is, as you expect in a modern distributed app, storage and compute separate. And again, to power your AI apps, you really need a vector native source for your data and have it processed and ready to go to be used by all these applications out there. And if that was it, that's pretty good. But there's a lot more, and this keeps getting improved. We have a lot of additional rich functionality here, support for things like dynamic schemas. So if you want to add extra fields to your system, whatever they are, it could just be a JSON file that you want to attach to your, images or documents. Currently, each row in a collection in a database can have up to 10 vectors. So you have all those vectors that are super fast for doing your semantic search, but you may need other fields. Maybe they link to a relational database. Maybe it's your ID in Pulsar. Whatever it is, you could put that in a schema, and that can be dynamic. So you could change those on the fly if you need to. This is also good if you're migrating from maybe one of the NoSQL stores. Support for all the major types of vectors, for the standard float, binary ones, or the new sparse ones, which are kind of interesting. Being able to optimize things with filtering. You could do a hybrid search with both dense and sparse vectors, which is nice. Things you expect to have for a database, all the different types of security and encryption. Support to have multiple tenants, like a nice feature you have in Pulsar, so multiple people can use one cluster. We also have the ability to not just run everything in RAM, which is common with vectors, but we can run things off disk. Once you start getting big enough, you might not be able to load everything you need there. Being able to bulk import, get your data in quickly, regardless of what it is. But obviously with us being able to stream it from Pulsar and Kafka compatible stores is a big deal. And support for all the fast hardware out there. Obviously, things like hardware make a big difference when you're running AI, even if it's just for the embedding. Also help for search and all the other things that we do. Now you could start off, manage everything yourself, and people do this. You can manage your own environment forever, use open source, run it in Docker, run your own Kubernetes, or even with Milvus Lite, you just run it in your notebook. And that might be good for a lot of use cases. At some point, you're going to want someone to do it for you. And Zilliz Cloud does that and host it on all the major places. What's nice is with Zilliz Cloud, very easy to integrate with StreamNative Cloud. And both of us have the ability to run serverless. So you make for a very advanced cloud native application. I talk a little bit about that at the Q42024 Cube Native conference. And if you need to bring your own cloud, bring it. What's nice is it's in Milvus, all the same APIs, all the same SDKs, nothing has to change. So we're cool on our own. StreamNative's cool on our own. What about when we come together? Well, if you're going to build an AI stack, real time has to be part of it. And if you're going to do real time, being able to have something like StreamNative, we support Pulsar, which supports so many different protocols, so many different connectors. And if you need to support the Kafka protocol, you've got one platform to do it. Makes it very easy to get lots of different data into your system. Under the covers, we support a lot of the different frameworks that are used for common AI pipelines like LangChain and Llama Index. Also things like LangChain for J, Spring, tons of ones if you're a Java person. Underneath the cover, we have to support a lot of different embedding models. What's nice is with PyTorch and Hugging Face, you can use open source and free ones, but you could also use ones from Cohere and OpenAI and different paid ones based on your needs. different types of data, different use cases have different types of embeddings. Again, things get complex there. And then connecting with all the major large language models and whatever hardware or cloud you need. All this is part of one solution. What's nice is, Kafka and Pulsar all run in the same environment if you need to, or very closely aligned together, maybe connected via VPC. If we want to integrate, there is some great connectors out there. The Kafka Connect module there is a great way for you to take whatever data you have in Pulsar and have that dropped off right into a collection inside of Milvus. This is useful for things like we mentioned, things like IoT use cases, logs, what have you. Very often, you'll have data sources out there somewhere, and they may need to get chunked up on a different platform, get them chunked up, get them put into, Pulsar and Kafka, get them into topics, get those messages into the system, and have them stream into your vector database. What makes that pretty good for us is we support a configurable ability to read the data. So it doesn't have to finalize when it lands for you to start querying it. You could use eventual consistency, or you could tune your consistency based on what you're doing. If you do things like streaming, you probably want eventually. So as pieces and individual messages arrive, you can handle those. We mentioned RAG being really important. That is a really common use case because it makes sense. The LLMs out there, especially if you're using the open source ones, have not been trained on your data, don't have the data of this second, don't have data that you might not want put up on the public cloud. You might want to be able to control your data in your own environment, this private, very specific information. We have that stored inside of Milvus. We do a fast similarity search based on whatever your question or prompt is. We use that to call the LM, get your answer, perform actions. This is very important, make things more accurate, improves relevance, reduces the dreaded AI hallucination, and puts in things that are very specific to what data you have or things that happen right away. Again, some of this can be because you're getting that information really quickly from Kafka or Pulsar, and you need to use that right away. We get that into Milvus very quickly. We could also do things like function calls out to consume that data and combine that with what we've retrieved from Milvus to make things as fresh as possible. Again, if you look into function calling as part of these pipelines, makes a lot of sense to be able to get the stream of the most current data. We can also push data out to Pulsar or Kafka compatible streams very easily once we've gotten those answers back. That way you could distribute it and keep things separated from each other. This is a good way to federate data out to whoever may need to consume it. I would say, again, you owning your data, keeping it secure, keeping it private, but still being able to get it at speed and scale and share it to whoever you want to share it to, not whoever somebody decides they should share it with. Now, a long time ago, I was looking for people who were using Pulsar, and I stumbled across Milvus, and this became a very happy discovery that the most powerful distributed open source vector database uses some really important open source things underneath it. Now, things like Minio, so we can make sure things are stateless and be able to store things in S3 compatible object storage is a big deal. But for our discussion today, a very important part of our infrastructure, like when you install Milvus, you have to install Pulsar or something that supports Kafka so that we can handle the communication between our distributed components, make sure all those important things you get from Pulsar are there. Being able to make sure things are decoupled, that you don't lose data, that things can be transmitted and shared super fast and in real time. Very important part of our infrastructure there. So I don't want to minimize that. If you look, it is in the heart of Milvus. We have SDKs to talk into the system, goes through load balancers and proxies, but any communication, whether it's a query or data, has to go into Pulsar or Kafka, so that we have our log brokers handling that. And that helps us coordinate things between pretty complex infrastructure of coordinators, workers, and object storage. This makes it fast and a good way to do that. And that's my main part. You want to take over for the rest of the partner program, and we are very happy partners.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much, Tim. This was really great. Let me see if you can stop sharing. I'm going to share my screen again. There you go. Thank you. Alrighty. Okay, awesome. Thanks again, Tim. So I think there's a lot there. I think we definitely want to do more with Zilliz and to educate our community about the different ways in which we are coming together to address basically solve specific problems for our customers and, highlight more of those use cases where customers are seeing success. So we'll bring more of those, hopefully in bite-size type of content. But again, thanks, Tim, for all the things you shared today. So moving on to the next section, just want to cover one more thing which we announced this quarter. This was within StreamNative, we announced a partner program. This is basically it's a very lightweight partner program at the moment. The goal of this program is primarily to educate our customers and the community about the different types of use cases and the integrations we have with other ISVs. And so we can highlight them so the broader community can benefit from that information, and we build awareness about that. Also, of course, there is we want to work closely with other types of companies, the ISVs and SIs, to kind of collaborate and innovate so we can mutually grow together, right? So in that context, basically, we launched 3 different programs in a Uber StreamNative partner program umbrella. The technology program is the first one, which is primarily for ISVs, the independent software vendors. So this is where we want to work with companies like Zilliz and others to explore the synergy between the companies, the different use cases which can benefit our customers. And then we want to explore what sort of integration either we build, or if it already exists, we validate it, and then educate the community about that, right? So I think this is an interesting area where I'm looking forward to working with all the ISVs out there. So this is a program open for any ISV to participate within this program, technology program, and work closely and collaborate with us, right? So that's the first one. I'll walk you through some more details around that. Second one is the services program. This is primarily for collaborating with system integrators, so we can go together to our customers and explore the areas where they need help with either migrations or custom benchmarking or any type of work which really needs help in adopting StreamNative and Apache Pulsar and Kafka and things like that. So that's a program for system integrators, right? And we've onboarded a couple of system integrators like Nexaminds, and we have CalSoft. So there are others in the lines coming too. Affiliate program is an interesting one. This is where we want to work closely with our champions out there in the broader community who could be independent consultants, or there could be a single employee company or a system integrator for essentially anyone who can help us and collaborate with us to kind of spread all the value prop about Apache Pulsar and Kafka and the broader StreamNative offerings to larger enterprises or mid-market segments. We can collaborate with them, and definitely there is a interesting referral program there where we can monetize, or we basically help and compensate the affiliates there. So those are the 3 programs we launched. So quickly on the technology partner program, the way it works is in 3 different simple steps. In the first step, we want to work closely with an ISV to understand what the synergy is. what the use cases are, and what sort of integration either we build or if it already exists, we can validate and then move forward from there. Once that part is done, then we together go to the core market side of the program, where we want to build some content together and educate our community about it. Like, for example, one section of this webcast today, I would mark that as a partner webcast, where, like, thanks to Tim to collaborate with us to educate the community about our partnership. So I definitely want to I'm looking forward to kind of working with other ISVs to do the same. And you'll see more of that content coming through our webcast. So that's a little bit about our technology program. And I'll tell you about how an ISV can apply for this program and the different benefits they can access as they actually get on board. Services partner program is also 3 simple steps. We want to explore the expertise of an SI and what sort of areas they focus on. Do they have a practice center for Apache Pulsar, Apache Kafka? And then if not, we can help them build that if they're like committed to working with us, and then essentially explore the different types of expertise they have in the vertical space or other domains where perhaps we can educate our community about StreamNative and our services, right? So this is for services. An affiliate program is something similar, where essentially anyone out there who is a big fan of Apache Pulsar and Kafka and StreamNative can work closely with us, even if that person is an individual consultant or a larger company, and we can walk through 3 different steps to see how they can introduce us to StreamNative to some of the other larger enterprises. And essentially, if that looks like a fit, and if the enterprise finds that as a suitable recommendation, then we move forward and collaborate on that, right? So there's a journey there with affiliates. So definitely an interesting program for someone who wants to work with us to consider. Then from the benefits side, definitely we're very willing to collaborate with anyone who wants to partner with us, explore and go deeper into the use cases and build right sort of integrations and solutions for our customers. So I think it's a big win-win for both of them. I'm looking forward to hopefully hearing from a lot of ISVs and SIs after this and affiliates too. So the way you can apply for this program is, again, just a couple of simple steps. You can go to this URL, streamnative.io/join-partner-program. And you can basically just fill up a form and submit, and then we will review it and get in touch with you, right? So this is the way you can reach us in a more systematic fashion and expressing your interest about joining the program. One last thing on the partnership side, when we announced the program, we also onboarded a few partners, the early partners. We have about 6 partners who are now onboarded. So I think these are the partners we have on board, and definitely looking forward to the next round of partners we're working with. And you can expect to hear more from us, I guess, next month around this. Okay. So with that, I'm just going to move to the last section of this webcast, which is phase 4, where I want to talk a little bit about what's coming in Q4, right? So just let me touch on some of the important updates which are coming up. The first one is bookkeeper removal. This effort is really to go in a direction we want to offer a choice to our customers, choosing the infrastructure based on what sort of use case they have in mind. If there are low latency requirements for your use case, then I think you definitely can continue to use the bookkeeper-based infrastructure for persistent storage, and you'll get really good results there. But if you want to just, if your use case is not so sensitive to latency, a few seconds of latency is okay with you, then you can very much take advantage of the option to remove the bookkeeper and just use a lighter infrastructure where you can write your data directly to a low-cost storage service like S3 or Google Cloud or Azure, right? So that's what that first bullet point means, bookkeeper removal. But essentially, it will still be a choice for customers if they want to use it, right? I think we also are we're going to replace Zookeeper with Oxia, which is a new, Oxia is a new metadata store, which is designed to scale on cloud native infrastructure like Kubernetes. So it's definitely going to offer a lot more set of benefits for our customers, where they can, create millions of topics if they want to. So I think this is much more scalable than Zookeeper. So you'll see that this Oxia will become a default infrastructure for metadata moving forward in StreamNative Cloud, right? There will be a big announcement around our Flink integration next month. I will not be able to reveal too many details right now, but this is something which is coming. So I will not share much more details around this. I think next month you can expect to hear what we are doing in this space. With Snowflake, we are working closely to integrate with the Snowpipe streaming functionality, so our connector will be enhanced to support that, and that will be a much convenient step for a lot of customers to write directly to Snowflake instead of going through a temporary staging area. So it's it'll be a much more efficient way to ingest data to Snowflake from StreamNative Cloud, right? So things like that. So I've not covered all the details here, but I think we will be covering more details on what's coming in Q4 in the next month, and go from there. So I'll do a deep dive on each of these areas. So that's pretty much it. I think this is what we wanted to cover today. I think if you want to sign up for a trial account in StreamNative Cloud, you can scan this barcode, or you can go to, you can even book a session with somebody from StreamNative by going to this URL. You can also grab a free copy of a book on Apache Pulsar by just scanning this barcode. I think it's very informative. I found it really useful when I joined StreamNative to come up to speed with Pulsar. Really, really well-written book. All right, so one last thing, we are having this event next month. This is an in-person event organized by StreamNative. This is called Data Streaming Summit. This was called Pulsar Summit before, but now we've renamed it to Data Streaming Summit because now we definitely, we just don't support Pulsar, we also support Kafka. So in the context of supporting like two major data streaming and messaging technologies, I think, this naming makes much more sense. So this, you can definitely sign up and register for this event if you want to attend in person. Right now, there's an early bird phase going on where you get some discounts if you sign up. And if you do so, then I think I'll see you there at the event next month. Cool, that's about it. So I think we are ready for questions. We have exactly 10 minutes left. So let me see if there are any questions. Tim, there's one question for Zilliz.
Okay.
What are some of the common applications which use Zilliz and StreamNative?
Yes, I mean, a couple we've been seeing recently is around people building pretty advanced chatbots. The thing with chatbots are they live out there in the internet. So what people will do is have an application that consumes questions and acts as a chatbot for, say, Discord or Slack, gets those messages back, pushes them to Pulsar so that they can be distributed and consumed by a server somewhere, wherever that is, in a more secure environment where those can be fed to Milvus. We get all that done, connect to a local open source LLM, and then push the results back to Pulsar and have that bot that deals with Slack or Discord get those messages and send them out to whoever needs those. That's a pretty cool one.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much, Tim. All right, so the next question is, where can I find Kafka connectors supported by StreamNative? So I think you can find all I think someone shared a link to StreamNative Hub. And if you go to StreamNative Hub, you can actually filter connectors in different ways. There is one way where you can look for support, filter by support, and if you select StreamNative, you can find all the connectors which StreamNative provides enterprise support for. You can also filter connectors by the ones which are available as fully managed connectors in StreamNative Cloud. Some of our connectors are still on-premise and not in cloud, but again, based on the customer demand, we onboard them to cloud. So yeah, StreamNative Hub is the place we'll continue to improve to keep all the connectors in one place, and also try to provide ways in which you can filter and find relevant connectors which are suitable for you. Right, so that's that. And the next question is, where can I find the partner directory for StreamNative? Actually, that also I think is shared. If you go to streamnative.io slash, I think it's the partners. Yeah, streamnative.io slash partners. You scroll down a little bit, you should find a directory. It's just very few partners listed right now there, as we just recently launched the program. So that's where you can expect to find the next batch, like basically all the partners getting onboarded. And over time, we plan to provide a page for each of the partners. So yeah, that's where we share more details about the use cases and all the collateral on which we collaborate together. Next one is, I think this one probably is for you, Tim. I think
Okay.
they're asking, what do you mean by unstructured data in the context of like the Zilliz use cases? So
Yeah, so unstructured data, usually when we're dealing with Pulsar and Kafka, are chunks of text. I mean, occasionally it could be chunks of images, but it's generally large chunks of text that we're going to be able to vectorize and use for similarity search and be able to augment things like RAG. But obviously, unstructured data is important for a lot of different formats, whether that's images, audio, video, documents, all those sort of things.
got it. Makes sense. Cool, thank you. And then I think there's a question that will there be no option to use Bookkeeper persistent storage? I think I briefly covered that, but let me repeat that again. So with the no Bookkeeper option, basically, I think we should fix that term. I think it's a bit misleading. Essentially, what we're trying to do is give choice to our customers to choose the type of infrastructure they want to use with their clusters based on their use case. So if you want to use a infrastructure for a low latency use case, then definitely you can use, we continue to provide option to use Bookkeeper for persistent storage. But I think if you want to, if latency is not as critical for you, you are okay to receive your data on the other end in like few seconds, sometimes even minutes, then you might be able to, we give you an option to save some cost by pushing your data directly to a low cost storage. Then you don't have to leverage the infrastructure for Bookkeeper, right? The persistent storage usually is more expensive, and it depends on how much of data you store and for how long. It can be expensive for some customers. But yeah, it's a matter of providing a choice to our customers. So I think you will still have Bookkeeper, but I think you will use it only if you need it. Yeah. Cool. All right. So I think that's all we had. I don't see any other questions here, but again, I would thank Tim again to join today's session. This was really great, Tim, and I'm super excited to collaborate with you moving forward, and definitely would want to do more of such sessions. So thanks again for being a part of this session today.
Pretty awesome.
Cool. Let's wrap it up now. So I think we're just going to end the meeting. All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks.